Welcome everybody to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. Today I'm here with Rebecca Parry from Parry Coates Family Law. Welcome, Rebecca.
Good afternoon and happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday.
Yes.
Rebecca, family law.
Yes.
What made you get into family law?
I got into family law because it was all about people. I was able to interact with people, help people. I'm not a mathematician as such, so I wasn't going to be doing property or commercial law or tax. I grew up around people, socializing with people, working with people. So, yeah, it's the people's law.
Yeah. And how long have you done family law?
I've been doing family law now for coming up 27 years.
Okay, wonderful.
Must be time to retire.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice.
Today I thought we might have a discussion about what happens from a family law perspective when someone passes away and they've actually got a family law proceeding on foot. And what that kind of looks like from your side of the scene. I mean, I know what it looks like from my side of the scene, but what does that actually look like for you when you're dealing with an executor?
Well, if parties have separated and they are within the court system already, then the executor of the estate steps into the shoes of the deceased party. So they just run the matter as if they were the person who was part of that relationship that's broken down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess the difficulty is that if the proceedings aren't in the court system.
Yeah. And in terms of proceedings not being in the court system, what implications does that have?
Well, let's say, for example, Jack and Jill separated and they have to divide their property. There are steps that you need to take before you can actually file an application with the court to do your property settlement, and that takes time. And we also, as lawyers, we also encourage people to stay out of the court system. So I guess on the off chance that somebody does pass away before court proceedings are commenced, the property that belonged to the parties essentially goes to the surviving spouse.
Right. And that may not necessarily be what somebody intended.
Correct.
What other things can people do to try and prevent that happening?
Well, I guess you could do a form of asset protection by way of a financial agreement or a prenup. You could do that prior to entering into your marriage or de facto relationship. You can also do it during your marriage or de facto relationship. And that way you can quarantine assets that you want to keep as yours. And then what I would suggest that you do is you make sure that you see a wills and estate lawyer come and see you, and that you then draft the will that mirrors the terms of the financial agreement.
Yeah. So in terms of having financial agreements in place, I think a lot of people have the perception that it's just something that you look at doing maybe when your relationship is not so great. Is it better to do it when the relationship is actually
good,
in a better state?
Yeah.
Everybody's thinking sensibly at that stage, I assume.
You would hope so. You do have to have that conversation with your partner about entering into a financial agreement. It's not a compulsory agreement that you enter into, so you do have to have that unromantic conversation. And one would think that if you have that conversation when the relationship's a little bit rocky, it probably sends a signal to that other person that what's going on here.
And just stepping back to the situation where there's a family court proceeding on foot that might need to be finalised if someone's passed away, do you find that when someone has passed away and the executor has stepped in to finish off that proceeding, that it causes a delay in actually finalising things, or a change in people's views, whether it's the other side?
It doesn't delay the proceedings because time's up. Uh, it doesn't delay the proceedings because the executor has literally stepped into the shoes of the deceased, and so the proceedings will stay, in line in its, docket system, if you like, and it will run its ordinary course.
Yeah.
There might be an adjournment of a court date if a court date is close to the date of death, but it shouldn't prolong it. No.
Yeah.
The issues change slightly when the judge is determining the actual division of property.
Right.
Because clearly, the future needs factors that we have to consider in the property settlement process, that might change. So if I was alive and I was the separated wife, I might have, a future needs factor that needs an adjustment because I might not work.
Yeah.
So there might be an income disparity.
Right.
Clearly that doesn't apply if it's an executor running the case for the deceased.
Yeah. Okay.
But there might be small children, and that's a future needs factor.
Right, okay.
That the court needs to consider.
Yeah, okay. So to summarise making people's life easier and including an executor's life easier if someone does pass away, having all of your life plan, I guess, in place is kind of important for people, not just in terms of from a family law perspective, but having wills and estates related documents in place, if you can have a binding financial agreement in place, if that's actually the right thing to do for your particular relationship, that can take into consideration all of those things so that if there are some things that happen in life, and unfortunately tragedy can happen in life, that it makes everybody's life a little bit easier.
Yeah, you can make those plans, but it's about thinking about those plans. And wanting to do those plans.
Yes. Yeah. And I know it must be a really difficult thing for people to think about, what it is that they do in terms of documentation. I know from a wills and estates perspective, people don't like to think about what happens when they're going to pass away. And it's inevitable. We're all going to die at some stage.
Yeah.
And it is a really hard thing to think about. And I guess when you're in a relationship, it's hard to think about all of the things that you might want or need to happen if your relationship comes to an end. Thinking about that, end tragic event is not always the happiest thing, which is why you should probably have those conversations over dinner and wine.
Yeah. Lots of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have those conversations, and especially if you've got little people.
Yeah, that's right. At the end of the day, when you've got little people, it's all about protecting them, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, thank you, Rebecca, for joining me this afternoon. It's been a great chat, and hopefully everybody learned something from it.
Yeah. Thanks for the wine.
Cheers.